Doctors were in and out talking about possibly putting her on life support.
I had spinal fusion. I had 2 discs removed, replaced with artificial discs, and held together by a plate and 4 screws.
Our first son was born. We had a midwife birth, and then he had a problem with his lung. There was a tear in his lung. So we went to the hospital, and you quickly rack up, I think we had about $80,000 in bills.
The doctor came in and said he had very disappointing news for me. He said, I have to tell you, your baby has a lethal condition.
Issues or incident that happened with my son, that was a couple of years ago. He came home with like very swollen feet, and he evidently had some kind of a mysterious bug bite, and one of his leg was like huge. I mean, it was really, really huge.
And then after I had the twins, I had another medical condition that needed to be taken care of.
Our first use of Christian Healthcare Ministries was when our son was born. We were able to use their program for a midwife. We really enjoyed having that option. And then right after he was born at home, he had complications that put him in the hospital for 10 days. Christian Healthcare Ministries has come through and paid off the entire bill very quickly.
When I've told friends about it, most of them have been interested, especially in the fact where I tell them, you know, you go work a discount, and that kind of covers your part of the expenses, and then and then CHM covers everything else. So you're not stuck with a copay. With traditional insurance, all of the discounts go to the insurance company. With CHM, the discounts come back to you.
I got an email to my phone from CHM letting me know that they were praying for Lundy and that they had heard and they were so sorry and that their prayers were with us and that they were going to do everything they could to help us in any way that they could, not to focus on the financial part of it because they were behind us and they were going to support us. And I just remember what a comfort that was. I didn't have to even worry about that.
I added up the bills, and it was about $70,000 of bills that we got from that, and CHM took care of every dime.
So whenever I've approached a doctor or I'm ready to pay a bill and I'm explaining that we're self-pay and that we're going to pay through a different venue, they always have questions. They just want to know, well, what is it? You know, what are you doing? What's different than, you don't have insurance? That's strange. So I find that it's not a negative feedback, it's just they're curious what we're doing.
They even overnighted us a check for the hospital and the doctor's bills, so I went into the surgery with no questions at all.
The ministry kept telling me, don't worry. We have got your back. We are praying for you. There's a community of people praying for you. We got cards in the mail and just scriptures, you know, hope. That's the main word if I had to choose one. The ministry gave us hope that whatever the baby needed, whether he lived an hour or years, that they were going to stand by us and provide what we needed. So that was one thing I didn't have to worry about, which was huge.
And then found out it was pretty reasonable, actually affordable, really affordable. But then we weren't really sure at the time because it's not an insurance. So we had a lot of thoughts and questions at that time, but we just gave it a shot.
I thought they were going to be really not cooperative. But it was completely I was completely wrong about that. They were really concerned about my son, and they were really, really nice about how they could be able to help us to pay the bill and even comfort me that it will be paid. So I was really impressed with their service.
But from the beginning, it gave us comfort. Actually, it gave us security as far as the healthcare bill is concerned. So when we do get hit with the healthcare cost bills, we know now that it will be okay.
However, because they're not used to that kind of system, first they were kind of hesitant, or like, is it really gonna work? But once get hang of, or once they have able to see the patients and be able to make the decision of their own, and then after that incident, one or two, they were very comfortable. Okay, this is good. This is great. It's actually very convenient for them, so they really like it that way.
When my husband took a new job, the cost of our health insurance was going to be more than the cost of our mortgage per month. So it was just going to be way too expensive for us. And Christian Healthcare Ministries was brought to our attention by our pastors. With a combination of medical expenses between my maternity costs, delivery, and then medical complications afterwards, I was only responsible personally for about $500 out of pocket.
Just giving God the praise that something like this exists, because I knew that if I had to pay for all that out of pocket, it'd be very, very challenging. We all know money doesn't come just by sitting still, so it takes that much. And it would have been a lot of burden for me, and that burden was lifted, so I was just joyful.
I found out that Christian Healthcare Ministries was approved under the Affordable Health Care Act by an email that I received from Christian Healthcare Ministries, and it was also printed in the newsletter. And of course that made me feel at ease again with my decision of joining Christian Healthcare Ministries.
I would tell anyone out there, if you're even on the edge of thinking about this, just do it. It's just, it'll bless you.
And it will bless other people.
Bless other people. Just knowing that I believe this is the way that it was meant to be, by sharing with other people's burdens. And this one happens to be your medical and health burdens. And Christian Healthcare Ministries really opens the door for fellow Christians to get together, just like they did in the book of Acts, where they sold their possessions and took care of anyone in need. And this really makes you feel good to be part of that.
I think it's twofold. One, it's taking care of our medical bills. And second, it's actually helping us to live in Christian way, the way it ought to be.